I'll, so that was pretty crazy. I thought a lot about taking that weird, it's obviously weird, video of me having that episode the other day. I was thinking about taking that down. I'm told, now I've only had these twice before. That was not nearly as severe as the last one. The last one I ended up calling 911, which I guess can lead me to this. Don't call 911. Really, unless you have a broken limb, like a definitive reason to call 911. Don't do it. I was just Googling this yesterday as I was arguing with my mother about it. If you have had a seizure, which would give you a history of seizures, if you've ever had a seizure before and you have another one, don't call 911. It was incredible. I called 911 last time, and I didn't know the protocol. They are kids I went to high school with, probably just trying to, I'd imagine, just trying to do a good job, and I hold nothing against them. Oh man. There should be more science and study into what goes on during some of these types of seizures, or in the event of someone dying. There's evidence to suggest that they actually become hyper aware. Now, I don't know what that's like, and I don't know if what I was experiencing was really a focal seizure. All I know, it was an extremely altered state of awareness, to say the least. I mean, there was physical symptoms, extreme weakness, inability to breathe, hands are sweaty, talking. I could talk, but it would not understand a word I was saying, and that is a better example than how it was. It was so fucking bizarre, and so trippy. And so, in my case, I called 911, whatever, but I'm in this state of hyper awareness. Even though all of this weird shit is going on, I looked like I was not with it. I could not speak. They just treated me like a junkie. They got my history from my mother of, Lyme's disease, babesia, Bartonella, definitely CIDP, stiff person syndrome is a fucking weird one. The only way to test for it is through something called GAD-65 levels, which could be altered due to the IVIG that I take on a weekly basis. So that's actually debatable. But all of these things, obviously they're EMTs, they're not, for every one of those things you basically need a specialist. So they don't know what I'm dealing with, but they hear, what medications is he on? Pain medication. Okay, he's fucking ODing, even though apparently my pupils were enlarged. Man, I'll ramble about this, because it's I showed every fucking physical symptom of the opposite of an opiate overdose. An opiate overdose, you'd have very pinned pupils, shallow breathing, you would not be responsive, and more so than that, you would respond immediately to a dose of Narcan. So they heard that, and they literally pull the ambulance over on the side of the fucking road next to Giggles and just stop. I'm sitting there, mind you, I can feel all these people and I can hear them perfectly. There's something so inhumane when you are going through a crisis like that and people are, it's not even minimum wage humor. They're doing it for volunteer. I mean, they're just cracking jokes about what, like, a boring night this is. That really bothers me. Really makes me not want an autopsy. Do you want some people talking, about what they're gonna have for dinner as soon as they get done with this last piece of work, which is your dead body, and they slice you open without a care or thought about who? It's just so... yeah, it's so, there's no, like, nothing sacred about it at all. Man, I could go off on tangents. Forgive me, because my mind is cloudy. So they injected me up with Narcan. Nothing happens. I'm still pupils dilated, having a hard time breathing fucking heavy. Not looking like I'm with it, but obeying commands anytime they ask me, "Are you with us, man?" I'm right here. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me. 2 thumbs way up. Yeah, it was gross. It was absolutely gross. So don't call 911 unless it's a stranger, you don't know their medical history, and you know they need help. Call 911. If you got a broken anything, call 911. If you have a complicated issue that is being dealt with by doctors and such, and you're calling 911 because either you can't breathe or for physical relief from intense symptoms, fucking useless. Especially Putnam ER, and I've been told this specifically from people who work there, people who began working there and quit, and doctors and their nurses who work in the building. Don't go to Putnam ER. That being said, whenever those weird, I don't want to say seizure, because when you think of seizure, you think of like swallowing your tongue, and thank God I've not experienced that. But whenever those episodes hit, I'm just glad to be back. Yeah, and I'm not gonna take them down because, you know, a part of me is always worried about being judged. But this was not started to portray an image. This was not started to feed my ego. This was started out of complete desperation, out of complete need to just express, regardless of what anyone else thinks, because everyone else will always have a story. They will always have an opinion. And even if you could speak to them and tell them why everything you think about their opinions or their narrative of what's going on is incorrect by your measurement, it's not gonna change anything. So I have nothing to prove to anyone, although open, not to prove, I have nothing to, whatever, this wasn't for anyone else. Although I am open to suggestions for anything. But I will never share these videos. This was not something I intended to do to promote myself. Again, I can't write. I used to love to write, whether it be in a journal or what the fuck, or on a cave. I mean, I only wrote in a journal, and I can't express myself musically anymore. I needed a valve, and this is that. So I'm never gonna put this out on my own, although I see like 10 people watched that first video already. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, as that will give me maybe a narrative of something to talk about, which could actually clear some things up, or help me express myself better, because I know right now this is just bizarreness, but fuck, that's exactly what this is. This is bizarre. I'll leave it there. I'm happy to be back. And don't call 911.